So Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals put on another show last night in Dallas. Won a pretty close, wacky game against the Cowboys, and pretty quiet game for T. Higgins, but of course, and always, an amazing game for Jamar Chase. He is expected to get a rich, rich contract. To be honest, if the Bengals owner was more of a spender type of guy, I feel like that contract would have already been done, but regardless, he's going to get a massive, massive payday. And who knows, man, that number might exceed Justin Jefferson's. That was the thing that was really holding back the contract from getting done earlier in the offseason because Jamar wanted to surpass Justin Jefferson's contract, which, it's definitely a possibility for this upcoming year, but we'll have to see just because of the ownership in Cincinnati. But after the game, Joe Burrow was asked about the Bengals potentially re-signing T. Higgins or him just going to another team. And he had this to say, quote, "I'm confident we are going to do what it takes to bring T back. I know I'm going to do what it takes to get him back, and so is he. We have those talks. Those are going to be off-season discussions, but I think we're excited about the opportunity." And T was also asked about it, and he had this to say, "That would be exciting to return here." And you know what, man? I'm sure he does want to return to the Bengals. Absolutely. He's playing on a franchise tag this year since they couldn't get a deal done. And there was also a lot of talk of him being moved via trade. And obviously, none of those things happened. But if you're a wide receiver, why wouldn't you want to play in Cincinnati? I know they're not paid yet, but playing with Joe Burrow, playing with an all-time talent like that, it's a lot of fun. You're going to put up big numbers. And I know they're not getting the results this year, but if they really kind of get the right coach and add some certain pieces, man, like if just the Bengals defense was just like an average unit, this team would easily be at 9 wins right now, in my opinion. And this would be a deadly, scary team to play in the playoffs. I don't care if they're the 7th seed, the 5th seed. Who would want to play the Bengals? I really think if Joe Burrow and the Bengals were in the playoffs right now, I think it's very possible that they could go into Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs. That's how special he looks right now. That's how special he's looked throughout the entirety of this year. But just a waste, and we'll see what happens next year. It is reported that one team is heavily, heavily interested in signing T. Higgins if he does hit free agency, and that team is the New England Patriots. There was some interest with T. Higgins and the Patriots earlier in the offseason. Also, Brandon Ayuk was heavily linked to New England as well. I feel like most playmakers, receivers have been linked to New England just because they haven't had a legitimate wide receiver there for quite some time, and they need some weapons for Drake May. I feel like we all know that. He really doesn't have much to work with, even though I feel like Drake May looks pretty good so far in his NFL career. Even though like he has no serious wide receivers, I'm really excited to see what he does with actual wide receivers going forward for the 2025 year, but we'll have to see how it all plays out. But yes, if he does hit free agency, New England is reportedly ready to offer a huge, huge contract to him. Now, I get it from New England's perspective, obviously, like I just talked about. And, I guess it really comes down to the Bengals offer and how much they're really going to compare to the Patriots offer. Because regardless, the Patriots offer is going to be richer than the Bengals offer just because they have more cap space and because they're more desperate for a wide receiver. But it's really up to T. Higgins, man. If he wants to kind of take a bit of a discount and play with his buddy Joe Burrow, or if he just wants to do what's best for him and his family, get a massive contract and play with Drake May, I don't hate the move to New England. I think that's good. I just don't know if T. Higgins is a number one wide receiver because as a wide receiver, when you're playing with an elite guy like Jamar Chase, you're not facing the opposing team's number one corner, obviously. So, by that logic, you're probably going to get more opportunities going against the number two guy, the number three guy sometimes. The defense is really always keeping their eyes on Jamar. I just don't know if T. Higgins is a true number one wide receiver. You guys let me know if you agree with me or if you think he is. If you think he is, let me know why. I think he has potential to be. I just haven't seen it yet, but we'll see what happens, man. Either way, I like the move for him to stay with the Bengals or go to New England. I like both spots. He was also linked to going to the Lions earlier in the offseason. That would have been also kind of intriguing as well. I just feel like if he picks one of those two teams, it's probably the best thing for him. You know, if a team like the Browns offer him a contract, or the Tennessee Titans, or the Raiders, I would really be hesitant and advise him not to do that if I was in his corner or, if I was in his ear at all. I just wouldn't do that just because I think the QB situations in New England and Cincinnati look pretty solid going forward, but I can't really say the same about a lot of these teams like the Giants, for an example, or the Browns or the Titans. I really think he's in a good position to negotiate and to get everything he wants, money and a chance to win. So I hope he doesn't blunder it. He's a pretty good player, man. The last time we saw him in the playoffs, he had quite an impressive run. Definitely put up some good stats, in my opinion. Had an amazing play in the Super Bowl. And I really think he can be that guy. I just hope he doesn't go to a team that just wastes his prime years and we never hear from him again. Like, does anybody remember Kenny Galladay? If that's how you pronounce his name. Played for the Lions for a minute, was a beast, and then he went to the Giants, got a massive payday, and was never heard from ever again. That's the thing about wide receivers and hitting up the free agent market. Yeah, you can get a nice bag and you can have life-changing generational type money, but it comes with a price sometimes. It definitely comes with a price, and like I said, I hope T. Higgins makes the right decision, and I guess we'll have to find out. Do you think T. Higgins is going to re-sign with Cincinnati, or do you think he's going to go to New England, or do you want him to go somewhere else? Let me know in the comments below. If you made this far, please subscribe and help out your boy a ton. That's all I got for right now. Peace.
Drives it through for the field goal.
That was a good hold, good kick, 3 points. Good job by the offense.
And he'll start his return. And the tackle's made right around the 26-yard line. Anderson's on his way back out there, and his typical contributions have been absent from this offense for the better part of this first half.
I'll admit the defense is playing spectacular. They are all over the place. They're aggressive. They're fast. So the offense has to counter, maybe do some counter runs, take advantage of the fact that the defense is being so aggressive.
You know, I get about one spectacular out of you a year, so there it was.
Yeah, that's spectacular.
The offense is set at the line for the first down after that completion to Daniels. And Daniels is tackled down at the 45.
The Broncos coaching staff, they have been smart today. They are keeping everybody off bounds, even me. I thought for sure they would run the football, but no, they come out on first down, they throw it, they pick up solid yards. Good job by them.
And he's taken down, but not until he picks up the first. Manziel's got no one behind him. Just a quarterback waiting for the snap. And it's grabbed by Latimer. Latimer's tackled down at the 31.
The Broncos coaching staff has done a good job of mixing things up today on first down. The pass catches the defense off guard. They pick up solid yards. Now it's second and short.
Anderson's going to take the hand.